I love what you said because you built your certainty through micro moments of action, through seeing models do the thing and stretching yourself, which proves my theory, actually. So thanks for that.
She said something like, nobody's gonna take care of you out there. It shocked me a little bit because I thought, okay, this is just a little mistake. Maybe I can fix it. Like, why is she now telling me about all this other stuff? I think what she was trying to tell me was that college was hard, that nobody was going to baby me, and that nobody really cared if I failed or if I succeeded. And so it was really up to me to decide what I wanted. We have such a short term memory, like we forget. I think it's important also to document what they have to say so that people in the future can come back and listen to that. Sabrosura
Hola, hola. Welcome back to Café con Pam, the bilingual podcast that celebrates the power of our stories, the medicine in our voices, and the magic of reclaiming who we are. Pull up your cafecito, que este episodio es para ti. Yo soy Pam Covarrubias, your host, and today we talk about the girl who learned early that silence was the same thing as respect, and who spent her whole career listening to what gets passed down when no one is speaking. My guest today is Doctora Emilia Huerta-Sanchez, professor of ecology, evolution, and organismal biology at Brown University, director of the Center for Computational Molecular Biology, and co-host of the Science Wise podcast. She's a population geneticist, which means she reads human DNA like a historical archive. Que cool. She decodes the mutations, the marks, and the gifts that our ancestors left inside us without ever knowing our names. When I learned about her, I was like, oh my gosh. Doctora Emilia grew up in Mexico, moved to Los Angeles at 11, and became the only girl in a household where her father had the final say. And somehow figured out that education was the door out. This was out of silence. En esta conversación, we talk about what it costs to call your quietude respect, what it looks like to build the mentorship infrastructure you never had, and what it means that who we are capable of becoming is already written into us by people we'll never meet. Mi reina, this one is for the woman who's been staying quiet and calling it good manners. Quédate, que este episodio te va a encantar. Here's my conversation with Doctora Emilia Huerta-Sanchez. Dr. Emilia, welcome to Café con Pam.
Thank you for the invitation.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for a conversation. So the question we always ask is, what is your heritage?
Well, I'm Mexican. I was born in Mexico, and then when I was 11, I moved to the LA area.
So you're the in between.
I guess.
I mean, you were first gen, I guess, but you were born there and then came here. So some people call that the generation 1.5.
Interesting. Why 1.5?
Because you're not second gen, but you're not quite first.
Interesting.
Like your parents are technically first, yeah? Like the first ones here. But you were also the first one here? But you were a child, you grew up here?
Yeah. I guess that makes sense.
It's not a hard rule. Just like identity is not a hard thing. You know, there's no one path to identity, which is something that I study a lot. And so, you know, some people identify with the 1.5. Some people are like, no, I'm a first gen. Some people are like, I'm an immigrant.
Yeah. I think for me, I would say I'm an immigrant. That's what I would say.
That's more, it feels more you.
It feels more me for sure. But I understand the 1.5. It does make sense too.
So, you know, so you are an immigrant. Did you know you wanted to go into science since you were 11? Or how did that work?
No. I think if I think back, I would say probably just by chance. But it's something that, my parents, I'm a first generation college grad. My parents did not go to college. they didn't even finish high school. But I for me, getting educated was really important because I saw that as becoming independent. I
Mm.
did not want to not be independent.
How did you know that was a possibility?
Even though I come from like a very traditional Mexican household, somehow it's funny because my dad wanted me to be independent. He would say you need to go to school and be successful and make money and blah blah blah. Um, and at the same time, I was looking at my mom and thinking, I don't want this life. I need something else.
Growing up in a traditional Mexican household with both parents in the house, growing up Catholic, was there a quote standard that was instilled in you of what your life would look like or pan into looking like?
Mm.
Because when you said I don't want to be like my mom, like that makes me wonder.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, I think there's definitely some things that I wanted, like I wanted to have a family, right? I think my dad, I think he envisioned something that we would all his kids would live around him and
Mm,
love him. Like he wanted to be the patriarch of the family,
as
of course.
as it's been socialized.
Yeah. And I think because he was so strict, I would say it made me like not want to be near him for a long time. And so I saw just for me getting educated meant freedom in some sense.
Wow. What number are you in siblings?
I'm the middle child, but I'm
Oh.
the only girl.
Oh. So you play the daughter role,
Yes.
like the eldest daughter in a way.
The responsible one and obviously the one, yeah, that did a lot of the things and my brothers did not.
Claro. I talk a lot about calladita culture and
Mm,
the wounds that were handed to us, and kind of like, in a way, a blueprint from which we operate. And so I'm curious, in your house, what did silence look like?
mm. Silence. I don't think there was a lot of silence in
Mm,
some sense. Or maybe there was a lot of noise all the time. People were always talking, which I think in some sense something that I have had to learn is to be um, okay with silence, like in, and what I mean by that is being silent in like not having people around me, like not having that, because people were always coming through the house. There's always a lot of people
yeah, the
around
comadres coming in
us.
and out.
Yeah, every weekend there's like, carne asada, people come over, there's music. So, and you're always, I feel like I used to watch my mom just always cooking something and running outside and just always doing something. Everybody was always doing something.
Mm. This is all based on assumptions and generality. So edit, please, where you're like, that didn't happen in my house. But hearing about your patriarchal dad, did he have the final say on things?
Oh, yeah, of course.
And so how did you deal with having opinions? And like, you talk about like education is independence and freedom. And so that's where I mean with the silence, as far as like, what did you keep to yourself and what did you actually get to express?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I was silent in what I wanted. Like, I would have never said to my dad, I want to be educated because I want to be free.
Mhm.
No.
Mhm.
Yeah, so maybe I would mistake silent. We had to be respectful. Maybe being silent is a way of being respectful.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I would never speak, like, talk back to my dad ever. Things like this. So I always had to be silent in that sense.
So how did you navigate going to college? Like, you went away, no?
Hmm. It was interesting because even though my dad was the man of the house, and that was his kingdom. Um, he never he did wanted me to get educated. So when I said I'm going to college in this place that's far away, he never said no.
Mm.
I knew a lot of other parents who made their kids go to school nearby,
Of course, I know. I've shared many stories.
but my dad was never actually like that. He saw that as an opportunity, so he said, "Okay, you go."
Wow. Did that surprise you?
It did. It did. Um,
Was mom more apprehensive?
no, she was fine with it.
Okay. Nice.
Going to college was interesting because I felt I remember my first year when I was a freshman, my friends invited me to go to coffee and it was like midnight and we drove someplace.
For coffee at midnight?
Yeah. And I just kept thinking, oh my God, it's midnight. My dad doesn't know where I am. Like I could be doing whatever.
Yes.
So that was like like I was like, I was like, oh, my dad's not here. I can do whatever I want.
What happened in your body?
Interesting.
Like, were you getting kind of like anxious or, when, because one is the thought and the other one's the body response.
Yeah. I definitely um I mean, I don't remember anymore because it was such a long time ago, but it felt nice. I remember feeling like, oh, this is like another type of life.
Mm.
So it was interesting.
So, what was your undergrad in?
I did my undergrad in math and in French.
Wow. Love that for you. So, to bring it back to the thread of being educated gave you freedom, you said earlier that science kind of it was more like science found you instead of you choosing science. How did that happen?
Yeah. So I was an econ major and I wanted, I guess when I went to college, I thought that if I was an econ major, maybe I could get a job, at a company, and just have a good paying job. And, money was always also in the, like a big motivator, I would say, because we didn't have a lot of money. So money is always like something you need or people talk about.
Yeah.
But in college, I met somebody there who was a senior, and she had done a research, like a summer research program in Puerto Rico, and I met her, and at just one of these, because I was a first generation student, they used to have these get-togethers like once a month with
For
other
first gens.
students. Yeah. And so I met her there and she said, "Oh, I just came back from the summer research program in Puerto
Mm,
Rico." And I thought, wow, Puerto Rico sounds really exciting. And then she, she said, and I said, "What? How do you go?" She said, "Well, it's for math majors, and you do math research." And I had no, I mean, this is the first time I heard research and math together. And I said, "What's that?" And she tried to explain it to me. And I thought they were just doing math homework in the summer. And so, and she got a stipend. So it was paid work. She
nice.
was being paid and and they paid for her travel and housing. So I thought I want to do this. But you had to be a math major. And so I
Mm.
thought, okay, well, I'll become a math major. I'll go to the summer research program, and when I come back, I'll change my major back to econ. That was my strategy.
Según pensó.
But I went, and I really liked it, and that's where going to a PhD became like a thing. I was like, oh, I met a lot of people there that mentor me, and so then I could. I mean, that basically opened the door to everything that happened afterwards.
So, was it because you liked Puerto Rico or because you liked the math that you were doing? Because you got to see models at the program that kinda, like, showed you in a way what was possible?
I think it was, yeah, it was the last one. There were people there who were had PhDs. There were people there that were doing their PhD. They were
Mm.
and so I could see myself and well, the other thing that was important was that you when you do a PhD, you also get paid. So it's basically that you're being educated for free and you get paid.
Mm.
So that was you don't get paid a lot, but
But you get
it
paid.
felt it was better than you having to pay for college, for instance.
So you're what, like 17 or something when you're traveling? When you're in Puerto Rico?
I was 19.
19.
Hmm.
And did parents say, like, you're gonna go to, like, 'cause they're in Southern California, no?
See,
Like, you're gonna go all the way to Puerto Rico, like, on the other side. They were cool with it?
cool with that. Never, my parents never had issues with me traveling.
I mean, that's awesome. So I don't know if they're that traditional.
Yeah, I don't, that's interesting because the only time my dad, I think, had, when I told him I'm going to go to New York and do a PhD, well, after I finished college, I think he tried to do that. I think he felt like I was leaving, really leaving,
That's too much.
but it was too late by then. I said, I'm going.
Wow.
And I think he tried to keep me around, but I said no.
Okay, so you're in the program in Puerto Rico and you start like seeing people that look like you that have PhDs. Do you ask them what is this like what is a PhD, or do they tell you like this is a path that you could go? How did that work?
Yeah, so it was 6 weeks of, being there with all these people. You get to know them. Yeah, I asked them what's it like to do a PhD, and they would say, well, it's very similar to what you're doing right now in this program. Um, and then, yeah, they were also very encouraging because they were trying to, increase the number of underrepresented minorities
Claro.
that were getting their PhD. And at the time, they showed us the numbers. And I think the number of women, like Hispanic women getting PhDs in math,
0.000.
it was like one per year.
One woman per year?
I think so, yeah.
Has that changed since
It has changed a little bit,
to
yeah.
3?
Maybe five.
Well, progress is progress, you know? That's
um,
wild.
yeah, the numbers were really, I think, shocking. And I thought, I like math, maybe I'm good at it. Um, so obviously I was naive too, because doing a PhD is actually quite hard. So it was harder than the summer research program we had.
Right. Right. I would think so. So this is you're an undergrad. So you went through your whole undergrad. You went straight to a PhD or you did grad school?
I went straight to my PhD. Yeah.
Oh, like we're
Yeah.
not playing.
Yeah. Well, it was that or getting a job. And I thought, well, okay.
Let's get paid to learn. Nice. Nice. But your PhD is not in math though.
It is. It's not in pure math.
Mm.
It's in applied math.
Mm.
Yeah. So in pure math, I knew I didn't really want to do pure math. There, you have to prove theorems and, be really theoretical and abstract. And applied math was more applied. Like you could apply it to a field, like a biology or
Right.
engineering or something else.
So you read human DNA like a historical archive.
Yes. Now what I do, yeah, I basically take genomes that we sequence from people, right? And so genomes are like books in some sense because they
Mm-mm.
have because the way the genetic inheritance works. So like if I have a child, then I give them like a whole copy of my genome from me. They get one from me, and they get one from the other parent. And so but there's a couple of changes. There's like mutations that happen, a few mutations, and so those mutations are like marks. And so over time you use these marks, right? So think about your iPhone, for instance. I don't know if you have an iPhone or an Android,
I
but
do have an iPhone.
if you get one new, Let's say you get a little scratch, I don't know, once a week or once a month,
Mm.
and then time passes. And then after like 3 years, I say, how many marks do you have on your iPhone? Then you can tell me. And then that gives you a sense of time, right? So
Mm.
mutations, these marks on genomes, give you a sense of time.
Fascinating.
I guess genomes are like books that have all these marks, and you have to translate them and interpret them. And so we do a lot of work to interpret what what are these genetic variation telling us about what happened in the past.
Hmm. I have so many questions. We'll come back to the work that you currently do, but I want to go back to you deciding navigating the science and academia because that, like, in fact, you have a whole podcast around it.
Yes. Yeah. We I co-created a podcast called Science Wise, with my colleague and dear friend Rory Rolfs, who's a professor at University of Oregon. And we were actually both in sabbatical in Mexico, in Querétaro. We decided to do a sabbatical together, and we were thinking about what projects we could come up with. We work in, I mean, we have collaborations doing scientific projects, but we always want to do something, something that's going to make it
Less
better
sciencey.
for less sciencey, and something that's more, how can we help the next
Mm.
generation? How can we improve our community?
Mhm.
And so we thought about interviewing women scientists who have decades, who are elders in the field, who are women who come from underrepresented backgrounds, but they have navigated academia successfully, and they have a lot of, I feel like we can learn so much from them, and about just by listening to their stories. So it's more about the scientist, not about the science that they
Mhm.
do.
Mhm. And it's all women.
It's mostly women, yeah. And uh and and I think it's also, we have such a short-term memory, like we forget. Like if you think about, like, who are your great grandparents,
Mm.
you probably don't know anything about your great grandparents. It stops mostly. And so I think it's important also to document what they have to say, so that people in the future can come back and listen to that. um and selfishly, I think it's also helps me get some mentorship, because I'm like in the middle of what I'm doing, and they know more than me.
You've done it longer. I mean, it's awesome to which I think in a way we can connect it to your work in with genomes, right? Like, it informs a lot in how we show up, how the way that I love the marks on the iPhone that you explained, how, like, the marks have shifted and changed environments and communities and the ways things people, other humans show up, and what a great way to document it.
I mean, I think we have listeners who said they like it. Also because we're not a super big community of academics, and it gets lonely sometimes, right?
Totally.
We always think I mean, we're not, there's not that many of us in academia. And we're all in different institutions. And so it's,
And even fields.
mhm. And so I hope that through these stories of these really amazing women, people can gain different things from that, like see their stories in those women, but also gain some mentorship.
Mm. Another thing that I find really cool is that you, like you said, you co-host this with with Rory, who's a friend of yours, and you're vastly different from each other. You know, you come from a traditional Mexican household. Rory is queer, femme, politically out, like, there's the lived experience that you both bring that also enriches the conversations, because I'm sure everyone can come in or does come in through a different lens. So, what is it? feel or look like for you to build something with someone whose identity is so different from yours?
You know, it feels very natural to me and organic because we are friends.
Mm-hmm.
And even though we come from different backgrounds, we do share. We were working together for a long time, so we built very solid. I would say a very solid relationship. Um, I don't feel like I have to hide myself from Rory. I don't know. I can't speak for Rory, but I I mean, also doing creating science wise is a way for me to spend time with Rory. Like I
Mm,
want to maintain this relationship, and so this is another way of doing that.
yeah, because you work separate now.
Yeah, I'm in Providence and she's in Eugene, Oregon, so we're very far away from each other, and so
Yeah,
this is one way to keep our relationship going.
love that. Well, let's take a quick coffee break, and then
Okay.
we'll come back to this.
Sabrosura pa' ti que.
Emilia, do you drink coffee?
I do. I have one coffee every day in the morning.
Okay. How do you drink your coffee?
I it's just drip coffee with oat milk.
No azúcar, nada.
No azúcar. No.
Okay. Do you have a ritual on making it? Like, or do you like set up your drip the night before and then you roll out of bed and you're like, first thing?
Yeah, I mean, I make it every morning. I wake up, I make it in the morning and typically actually I it's my favorite part of the day because I enjoy drinking my coffee.
Mm.
Often because I have to take kids to school and so on, I have to do that before I have my breakfast. So I actually, once everybody, when everybody's where they have to be, then I can get to sit down and have this coffee.
So it's like your me time, no?
Uh,
Like, let's just close the dealing with all the other people. Let me bring myself back to me. And it's just, you just do one cup of coffee a day.
just one, yeah. I get too jittery
Yeah, I
otherwise.
feel you. Do you want to give a shout out to a local coffee shop in your area?
Ooh, yes. I like Dave's Coffee, which is very close to my house.
What's special about them?
What's special? I like their coffee. Um, they are, and um, what's special about them? They were always open during the pandemic,
Mm, mm. I mean, it's a big deal.
and service is good.
That makes a difference too.
Yeah,
And, good coffee, good service, good hours. Can't beat that.
definitely. Yes, yes.
Nice. Well, on my end, we're chatting at a time where I'm done with my cup of coffee. But I already had my cup of coffee and I always talk about the weird things that I add to my coffee. So in this moment,
Hmm.
I am adding creatine to my coffee. I add local honey from my mom's bees. She became a beekeeper.
Oh wow, is it
Yeah.
hard to do that?
It's not easy. So I wouldn't say it's hard, but it's not a walk in the park?
Okay, okay.
Um, but they're like bees are fascinating
Yeah.
in like so many ways. Like it's a whole thing, but which can derail us from a conversation. But so I add creatine, um, local honey. Sometimes I add Sheila hit.
Oh, okay,
Hmm. And most, no, todo el tiempo, all the time I add a little bit of cacao and some adaptogenics. So like lion's mane, some
okay,
mushrooms to help with my ADHD and my brain. And I'm down to 1 cup of coffee a day.
okay, okay.
So I used to be like, I don't know, 2.5 maybe. Because it would just like I would get it to halfway and then refill halfway and then refill a couple times. So but now I just fill it once and I've been doing adding goat milk too.
Okay. Is that good? Makes it is it more creamy than cow's
Super
milk?
creamy. I I don't love cow's milk. I
Okay.
was vegan for many years, and then my body was like,
Okay.
"Sorry, you need to break the chain." And so, you know, it was quite annoying, but so goat's milk, I like it better than cow's milk.
Okay, because goat cheese can be very strong.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's thick. I don't know, but I'm not a person that just drinks milk. I just like put it in my coffee, and that's the only time, really.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I don't. I used to have cow's milk, and then I didn't. But that was the only time I would have it for my coffee. But I've been using oat milk for a few years now.
Nice. También
Yeah,
sabe bien. Yeah, for
it's
sure.
yeah. It's, hmm.
Awesome. Well, let's get back to the break. I mean, to the show. We were on the coffee break. Let's go back to the show. You know what's frustrating? Losing your wallet. And you know sometimes what's even more painful? Realizing your almost full punch card from your favorite cafecito spot is now gone. But at least, even when your cafecito points have vanished, at BMO, if you lose your debit card, they'll print you a new one instantly at a local branch. Plus, you can use your phone to freeze your debit card to prevent any unauthorized transactions. Learn more at bmo.com. Conditions apply. Accounts provided in the United States by BMO Bank and a member FDIC. Do you ever feel like money's supposed to make you feel free, but instead it just makes you feel like a fraud? Like, you should already know this stuff: investing, retirement, debt, but you're still Googling what's a Roth IRA like it's a secret society? Let me unmute that real quick. Savvy Ladies is a nonprofit that gets it, and they're not here to shame you. They're here to support you. They've got a completely free financial helpline where real humans, real experts give you answers without judgment. Whether you're navigating money wounds, dreaming of building wealth, or just trying to make sense of your paycheck, this is your safe space. No sales pitch, no confusing jargon, just real talk, real help for free. Because financial confidence isn't just about numbers. It's about knowing you're not alone anymore. Head over to savvyladies.org to learn more. That is SAVVYLADIES.org. Back to science wise. So you decided to create this podcast with your friend Rory,
Hmm.
and now you've talked to dozens of women scientists about their experience in academia, about their careers, and I'm curious if you have, being a mathematician, if you've identified the pattern of what is it that they don't say until they come on the show.
I think in some cases, um, they probably haven't. Nobody has asked them before to think about this. It's my, I would say, because in where they're academics, so they're like the one person who's like them in that space.
It's wild
So I think, yeah, so they say a lot of them say a lot of things that they probably have never said before publicly, I would say.
because the space wasn't there
Hmm.
for them to say so. So you're giving people a stage.
Yeah, and I see that as they're also doing us a favor.
Absolutely.
um yeah.
What is something that a guest or a couple has said that stopped you and you had to really think it through? And I know you and Rory talk about kind of like debrief after the interviews. And
Hmm.
so,
Hmm. Yeah, let me think about that. There's been a few times uh that yeah, there was one story. um there was somebody we had on who said, somebody made a remark when they were an undergrad that really made them feel so bad about their ability to do science, to do research.
mm,
And it was just so sad because when you're a student, when you're a young undergraduate student, you're so, you know um, you're so sensitive, right? You feel things more strongly.
hmm
uh, and I guess it was sad that to hear how she responded to this experience, and how she kind of closed herself.
Mm,
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that maybe if somebody else had said something more positive, or if she had talked to somebody, maybe it would have been different. I don't know. But I guess those people didn't exist either. So
right.
one something that somebody said that I now that I'm in a leadership role, should I say, I think about somebody was not given an opportunity because um, they assumed that because she was pregnant, she wouldn't be able to do it.
Wow.
These assumptions, right? Like, how do you? So I try not to assume anything about anybody and just ask them and give them the opportunity to say no to me. And then there's other crazy stories. There was somebody who was doing field work who um, who had a really bad mentor, and but they were doing field work in like a mountain in a remote place.
So you
So
can't just run away or like hide
exactly,
in your office.
exactly. So it was just like the whole setup was a bit crazy, like being with the crazy part, like somebody who's clearly not a good match, and but you can't leave. You have to be in this
Oh,
in
what
this place.
happened? They stayed, I'm
Uh,
assuming.
they stayed. Somebody arrived and made things a little bit better,
Okay.
but there was a lot of, thinking, just a lot of internal thoughts like, oh, why am I here? Why this is just all that, internal dialogue that you have to do to get through something really difficult.
Oof. But now, I mean, they're still a scientist, no?
Oh, yeah, they persevere.
Which is what we want to hear.
Yeah.
So, how has it been for you to navigate academia? Because I'm curious about the story when the TA told you nobody's going to take care of you.
Hmm. Yeah, so that was in college. So when I went to college, because I was first gen, they they made all the first gen students. I think it was maybe 12 people, 12 students. We had to go. They said, um, they said, why don't you come the summer before school starts? And that way you become acquainted with the university. And then what they wanted us to have a good foundation in math and English and writing in specifically. And so we spent a lot of time writing essays and doing math homework. The
She's
math
like, I
wasn't
got
hard.
that.
Yeah, I got that. But the writing was difficult. And I was doing a lot of run-on sentences. And my TA, I think she was getting really frustrated with me because I wasn't getting it. Like, I wasn't getting that. She kept telling me not to do this, and I kept doing it. And um, and so at some point she said, like, Emilia, she took me to the side and she says, you need to pay attention. You need to stop doing this. She said something like, nobody's gonna take care of you out there. Like,
Wow.
you are on your own, and you need to learn how to do this. And so, first of all, she was really, I mean, it shocked me a little bit because I thought, okay, this is just a little mistake. Maybe I can fix it. Like, why is she now telling me about all this other stuff? Um, but then but then the fact that she was being so serious about it kind of made me think about it. And then I realized that I was in this new place. Um, that, yeah, nobody was going to take care of me anymore because, before that, I was with my family.
Yep.
I could speak to somebody potentially. You always have a friend that can help you do X or Y, or
Mhm.
somehow you find a way through your community. But here I was by myself with new people that I was getting to know. I mean, I was getting to know them, but they were not like my friends yet.
Right.
Um, and I think what she was trying to tell me was that college was hard, that nobody was going to baby me, and that nobody really cared if I failed or if I succeeded. And so it was really up to me to decide what I wanted. And so I felt a little bit sad because I think it's maybe part of growing up and, you know,
And realizing that you're it.
that yeah, that all that you all everything that you desire is really sometimes you have obviously people help you, but you need to find those people,
Mm-hmm.
and otherwise it's just you. And it was lonely.
Mm. What would you say to to that version of you?
Take more ownership of what you're doing. This is for
Mm.
you. Like, and also you have agency. I think it took me a long time to realize that I had some agency, because I think partly because before somebody was taking care of me,
Mm-hmm.
and but now I was in this place where I had to make decisions for by myself, and things that were going to impact me.
So did the agency come from practice?
It's probably a combination of things. It's probably, yeah, some practice, um, just watching how other people do things, right?
Modeling.
And yeah, modeling, and also, doing things that make you feel a little bit uncomfortable.
Stretching yourself.
Mm-hmm. Stretching yourself. That gives you confidence to do it again.
Agreed. I study I do leadership coaching, and I have been studying Latinas specifically, how we show up as leaders. And what I concluded is that we don't need confidence support. What we need is to build our certainty. Because when we're certain, we can show up anywhere and be confident. Like, you're already confident because you know who you're like, because culturally, regardless of what kind of Latina are you from, whatever country of heritage, truly, I think what I have seen from I have ADHD, so I'm pretty good at pattern recognition. So, what I have noticed is that the confidence is pretty solid. We know who we are. There's some, like, identity wounding that is real. You know, I created the 5 wounds of Caída culture: silence, identity, commitment, worth, and power. But those are signals. You know, they're not part of us.
Mm.
They're the blueprints that we were handed because the system is so wrong. And so I love what you said because you built your certainty through micro moments of action, through seeing models do the thing and stretching yourself, which proves my theory actually. So thanks for that. But I
Yeah.
think it's something that we often hear, you know, just be more confident or fake it till you make it, right? I don't know if that is true. And I don't know if that can be applied because I actually had recently ugh, Vanessa and Petra, Dr. Vanessa
Hmm.
and Dr. Petra, they study Puerto Rican diaspora, and they had wrote a book on Bad Bunny. Share.
Oh, really?
P fucking R.
Oh.
Yeah. And so in that conversation, we talked about the presumed incompetent reality. How women, how Latinas specifically, when we walk into rooms, we are presumed incompetent.
Mm.
And so you can show up with all the confidence in the world, but systemically, and the society will already presume, like, has already expectations of who you are based on their own assumptions. And so back to you building your own certainty, that's what through, like you said, as you are just creating more evidence that you are certain of who you are, how you lead, and how you show up, then it doesn't matter the assumptions of the outside world. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I think, but it takes a while to get there, right?
100%.
It takes a while, like, to
It's a
build
muscle. Yeah,
that certainty that you need.
totally. Totally. I think it's the way that I see it, and I'm curious about your experience, is it's like literally going to school, you know, like every grade you advance to a next level of math, but you have to pass the previous level of math, you know, because you can't go straight to I did a calculus and trigonometry in high school, by the way, which
Nice.
did not move past that because I was like, this is way too much. My math teacher was great, which I do think teachers are important.
Yeah. Yeah.
He loved math so much that we liked it just because he was so passionate about math.
Mm.
You know? But then after that, I was like, "No." I did statistics, and that teacher was not the business, so I was like, "You know what?
Oh no. Yeah.
We're not gonna keep going."
Yes, yes. I did have a great teacher in college. That's why I think I stayed with math, or I liked it.
Mm.
So for sure. Um, and yeah, I wish. Yeah, I mean, one thing that I hear people say, right? They say, "Oh, I'm not good in math," or "I'm bad at math," and I'm like, "Oh no! Like you're, we just need to do a better job teaching math."
Totally. I agree.
But yeah, I think um, that's something that I think we could do. And like I think I think math is for everyone.
Mm. I agree. I think and we use it all the time.
We use it all the time, and it is, it's good for, it's the foundation. It's sort of like the universal language of not just math but other fields, um, and it's a foundation for a lot of things. And I
Mhm.
think it's also really beautiful. It's so elegant, and
I would have never put math as elegant, but I'm here with it. I love that. Yes.
I mean, I think it's a way of understanding the world, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I'm sure you look at numbers about different things or trends, right?
I mean, I'm measured in numbers.
Yeah. So we have all these quantities that we like to measure, and then
Mhm.
beyond, we have to think about what does it mean? Is it telling us something? You have to find some narrative about what the numbers tell you.
Totally. So how did your love for numbers move into genomes?
Mm. So in grad school, when I was doing my PhD, I took my favorite class was it's called stochastic processes. And so basically you are modeling randomness in different things.
Okay.
Some people are interested in, like businesses might be interested. Let's say you have a business and you're selling, I don't know, cakes. And maybe you are interested, there's this called like, people study cues. So like you might have a line that people that come to your business to buy cakes, and so you can kind of model, well, if this many people arrive at this rate for this thing, you can compute
You
things
can
about,
predict
you can
things.
predict things, yeah.
I love
And
that.
you can find expectations of things. And so I like this class. It was about probability and randomness.
Mhm.
And the one person that was doing that kind of work was my PhD advisor. And he was a person in the math department doing probability, but he was collaborating with geneticists.
Okay.
And genetic inheritance is random. So we could use random models to model genetic inheritance and processes of, the evolution of genetic variation.
That sounds very brainy, but I'm here for it.
And so I was basically using modeling how mutations evolve over time in human populations.
And one thing that I've heard you talk about is how when you learned about DNA, you've compared it to awe.
You mean like the biology of it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, I think biology is amazing, of course. I mean, just how life form emerged, right? I think,
Mhm.
and how we humans are related to other species, even,
Yes.
even to like, I don't know, mice or like a fly or like a plant.
Yes.
Um, there are, I guess, there are some rules that we can deduce from these genomes, right? Like some rules of what happens.
Mm.
Um, so I really do enjoy what I do now. I like to think about fundamental processes that we can learn from using genomes or genetic data. I
Yeah.
like to study human evolutionary history. There's a lot of things that have happened, or just kind of understand, we're always trying to also understand how do genomes affect traits and phenotypes, right?
Yes.
And what explains that. There's yeah, I find it, and it's also now connected to also anthropology and archaeology
Hmm.
and ecology and human health. So there's a lot of connections.
You have a body of work that has basically it's your landmark research. No, so
Hmm.
I'm gonna attempt to make it like I'm going to attempt to translate it so people understand. So you studied people from the Tibet, ¿no?
Tibet, uh-huh.
Ajá. Entonces, what was found through your research is that Tibetans, ¿cómo se dice? Tibetans?
Tibetans, uh-huh.
Tibetans people don't just breathe thin air better because they trained for it, as we've been told, like you're like, as we're told, our body evolves. What you've learned or what you found through your research is that they carry a gene from a species that no longer exists. And the gene is the reason they can live where the majority of humans cannot live. Did I get it right?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so they can live in places that have so high, and they can, what I mean by they can live is they can have, they can have kids, they can live there for many many generations. But it's harder for somebody, say like me, if I went to high altitude, like that high of an altitude, and I tried to, say, get pregnant, it would be difficult
Por
because there's lower oxygen, so it affects your
cycle.
something. I don't know exactly what it affects, but it affects processes in your body that make it harder to get pregnant. And then if you get pregnant, then your um, the baby a, has lower birth weight than, say, somebody than like a Tibetan baby.
Oh. So if I was to have a baby with someone from the Tibet, that now I'm mixing like a regular schmegular person with a Tibetan person. So does the baby have better probability or like higher weight?
My guess would be yes, but we haven't done that experiment.
Okay.
We haven't asked that question. Interesting.
Okay.
But you bring up an interesting point. You're talking about, a mixing between two populations, right? You're saying if
Right.
I have a baby with a Tibetan, the baby's going to have some of these mutations that it needs, right? But
Correct.
maybe there's something that maybe there's some mutations in the mom that, I don't know, maybe allowed the placenta to do something else. Who knows? We don't know.
Mm.
So it's unclear whether both the mom and the baby have to, or just the mom, or just the
Mm.
baby. Um, but I would say, but yeah, so I'm interested in what you kind of mentioned, like what happens when humans from different genetic backgrounds sort of mate and have kids. And that's a process we called admixture.
Tell me when you find it. I'm here for
well,
all of it.
well, Mexicans are a mix, right? Uh,
Big one.
so that's, I study now, people from Latin America are unmixed, right?
Claro.
Because of the European colonization, the slave trade,
Yes.
and people. So that has created genomes of people who we call them admixed genomes because they have pieces of their genomes come from different individuals that come from different places around the world.
Mm. So what I'm hearing is that we have gifts from people we'll never know who they are.
Well, we can infer where they're
If
from.
I send you my DNA, then you can tell me, but, we navigate the world without that,
Without what?
without the knowledge of, like,
Oh,
I don't know, what if, like, 3 generations ago, my great-grandma married a Tibetan, and
yeah, you
I
might be
can
part
go to,
Tibetan.
like, super high altitudes and be like a fish in the sea. I don't know.
Maybe.
Because it's fascinating. And I also because I do in my work, in my coaching work, I do a lot of trauma work, and there's the epigenetics that studied
Mm,
how trauma
mhm,
lives in the body and it's passed on through the DNA, which I don't know if this touches like your body of work, but that's also the way that I see it. It's we're so vastly different from so many different studies we could look at it that that's why I don't ever say that there's one way to do things because you figure it out on your own
mm,
based on who
mhm.
you are and what you need and what you've like the marks that have been passed on onto you, no? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think the epigenetic marks that you are talking about definitely are sort of relevant to, thinking about how different trauma
Mhm.
changes people, right? Um, which is something that I guess has happened a lot in this continent as well. But yeah, I mean, I think for me, thinking about genetics, it's interesting because for multiple reasons, because we can, yeah, think about the past and infer the past. We can also find things that are relevant to thinking about how biology works, right?
Mm.
uh, we can also study, I like studying and mixed genomes because it kind of also brings, I think it's fascinating to think about the process and just how what gets lost and what gets maintained in genomes,
Mhm.
right? Because every generation, you don't have a full genome of your each grandparent. You only have roughly a quarter of that, a quarter from each grandparent. But sometimes it's a little bit more than a quarter. Sometimes it's a little bit less than a quarter. So it's not deterministic. It varies. And so
Yeah.
by looking at a lot of mixed genomes, you can say something about, well, what is that process of, how does that actual process work? And why do we have more of this and less of that? I don't know.
Ooh. That's a question that needs an answer.
And because mixed genomes are a little bit more complicated, we do need to build new tools to analyze these genomes, which is something that we do also
Mm,
in my group.
how exciting.
I think it's super exciting.
I think so too. I don't know if people are falling asleep listening to us, but I think this is awesome. Well, because I think humans now, we're recording this in the year of 2026, right?
Mhm.
I think we are in the in the time where people are constantly in this search of who am I?
Mm,
And I think scientists like you who do this work are not just in the quest of finding who are we, but you're actually like getting like answers. There's a spiritual side of things that you can explore like through your own self actualization, but there's the data which combined, I'm like, we have like so many points of conversation.
yeah,
Am I
yeah.
nerding out too much?
No, 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 no. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think learning about the past gives us, you know, it can help inform us about the story of humans, right? Like that's, so I
Mhm.
think that is, we're coming up with sort of like, it's not like we know the actual truth, right? But we're coming up with maybe something that has evidence, like this is the story that we can come up with, right?
Mhm.
And the future generations might learn from this story and add to the story.
Mm.
um I mean, who we are, I think, I don't feel like, I don't think we're going to learn who we are from genomes, like basically individually necessarily. I think that comes more from like who you're with, your
Mhm.
family, just like your culture, your,
Well, there's the external and then the internal aspects of what makes us us, which I think that's why everyone is so different.
yeah, yeah. And it's not just us, right? Because there's the interactions with the other people, and people see you in a different way that you might see yourself.
Mhm.
And how do you navigate, how do you, yeah, you might understand yourself, I don't know, like I might think, oh, I'm this and this and that, but somebody else might see me differently.
Totally. This is why I tell my clients sometimes, you have to understand that sometimes you're the villain in somebody else's story,
Mm,
whether you want it or not.
yeah, it's hard to be the villain,
It's hard to be the villain. It 100%, it's hard to be the villain. And,
but it's true.
it happens. It happens. So, we can literally stay talking about this, like, all day. I have so many questions and, I'm sure you have to get back to work, but so, Dr. Emilia, do you have a remedio you wanna share with us?
Yes, el remedio is something that I learned from my dad. So basically, whenever you have a sore throat or a cold, or you have a lot of phlegm in your throat, um, something that can soothe your throat is boiling some honey with garlic cloves. You boil it in a bath, a rosemary bath. Is that what it's called? When you put the
Sí.
honey,
Romero, ¿no?
romero, uh huh. And then once it's boiled, you get a spoonful of that and you add lime juice to it.
Mm. So it soothes your throat.
It does.
I love
It's really
that.
good.
I use propóleo
Mm,
from the bees. I mean, see? Bees are awesome.
yeah. Honey, honey, honey. Yeah.
Honey, honey, honey. Tell us all the places and spaces where we can find you.
Well, I have a website. I don't know. You can find me at Brown University. I guess I want people to listen to Science Wise, the podcast,
Yes.
especially those aspiring academics. And it's good for, undergrads, grad students, and even, people who are professors.
Yeah. And we'll have all the links in the show notes. So you don't have to remember them, everyone. And the last question I'll ask is, what is the legacy you want to leave behind
Ooh. For whom? For my family?
for the
For
world?
others? I mean, I try to be the best scientist that I can be in some sense to show the world that, or to show the world that giving opportunities to people can lead to good science, to good scientific findings.
Mm,
That so to be more open to other people. Basically, I guess my work is my legacy to the world, and I want them to also take, in some sense, my story into account. To give people, to make sure that that they have opened the doors for other people, not just to me.
so good. So good. Okay. I said that was the last question, but I do have one more question. What are we looking at behind you?
Mm, that's my board. So when my students come to talk to me, we work a little bit on the board. This is how we share ideas, or they have a question about how do I do this, because or like if we need to write an algorithm for analyzing genomes, then we need to think a little bit about how to do it, or what is it that we actually want to measure. Sometimes that's
Mm,
we need to make sure that both the student or whoever works with me or my colleague, that we are both saying the same thing. And so writing it out on the board helps us clarify
uh.
where we are.
So what we're looking at is multiple calculations. Is not all one topic.
Exactly. Different colors, different people have written on this board.
I love that. This could be like a wallpaper for like a mathematician.
Yeah, somebody it's but yeah, this is my office, so we do a lot of work here.
That's awesome. Well, Emilia, Dr. Emilia, thank you so much for coming to Cafe con Pam.
Gracias, Pam.
That was my conversation with Dr. Emilia, and she said that genomes are like books full of marks, full of mutations, full of things that got passed down from people who were gone. And the work of her life is reading those marks and asking, what were they carrying? What did they leave us? And of course, as she mentioned that, I thought of the fact that some of what got passed down to us is a gene that helps us breathe at high altitude. Remember that story? And some of what got passed down is the instruction to stay quiet and call it respect. Y las dos son herencias. Both live in the body, and only one of them is actually serving you. So, if you heard yourself in Emilia's story today, the girl who kept once to herself, who learned that speaking up was disrespectful in some way, who's been navigating rooms where nobody looks like her and figuring it out alone, the invitation for you to remind yourself that that is not a flaw for you. If you feel that way, that is part of the training. Y como doctora Emilia, you can decide when the training has done enough. Y el primer paso is understanding what you were trained to do. Of course, I'm going to invite you to take the Calladita Culture quiz because that's what it's for. It takes you only a few minutes, it's free, and it will give you the language for something you've been carrying without a name. cafeconpam.com/quiz. Cuéntame qué sientes con tu resultado y nos vemos con la próxima. Stay shiny. Café con Pam is created con mucho amor by our small but mighty team. Content production by Nancy Jaimes. Podcast management by Maru Linardi. Social media and marketing by Brenda Figueroa. And me, your host, Pam Covarrubias. To keep the cafecito brewing and the healing flowing, join the Supporters Club for only $5 a month and access early episodes, behind-the-scenes vibes, and exclusive minisodes you won't hear anywhere else. Screenshot this episode and tag me and share what resonated. I love seeing your takeaways. Follow on your favorite podcast platform and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's keep the conversation going with us on social media at Café con Pan Podcast because your voice always matters there. We love being on Instagram and Facebook. Gracias for listening to Café con Pan, a Spread Ideas Move People production. For more episodes, guest info, or resources, visit cafeconpam.com. And if you're healing from calladita culture and don't know where to start, you can take the quiz. cafeconpam.com/quiz for tia wisdom and cariño just for you.
Sabrosura pa' ti que